Hey there. Happy Thursday. So tonight is going to be a very special live. Miriam, one of my clients, is going to come on and tell us about her experience with the past life regression that we did and how it affected her life. So in just a few minutes, as people start jumping on, I'm going to give it a little bit of time, and then Miriam will hop on and we'll get this show on the road. And this is a day I get to relax because she's going to do all the talking, which is great. Also, feel free to ask any questions that you may have in reference to her experience, her past life regression, and how things are going. She'll answer any questions you have, and I will as well. So we'll try to keep aware of what's going on in the comment section because it was a lot. She had a really powerful past life regression. She went OBE immediately and was able really to see who she was and what she was doing, and also see how it affected her life currently. The things that caused her to be the way she is in this lifetime. Sometimes it helps to see what happened in your past lives, understand things that are going on in your current life, and what you need to basically accept and adjust so you can move on and elevate. Because each lifetime you're supposed to elevate. So that is what tonight's all about. Hi guys, hi Victor, hi Mel. Mel, this is 2 times in one day you hearing me. Because you got to, I was on a show earlier this afternoon with a friend of mine, an amazing journalist that is in New York. Her new paranormal show was on HAPS TV. So we did that this afternoon. That grandbaby, Victor, is absolutely beautiful, just so you know. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so we're going to see who clips on, and then we'll go from there. I don't think I need my headset tonight. I'm going to knock off of that. I think you can go back and listen to it though, DC. I think you can. Where is Miriam? I wonder if she's running late. Would it not be funny if I got stood up, but she would never stand me up. I don't think so. Hi, Ambo. Okay, so while we are waiting for Miriam to get her butt online, what questions do you guys have in reference to past life regressions and soul retrievals and how it works and all that other fun stuff? It's always cool when you're connected to somebody if you're open enough to do a joint past life regression. I think we need to do one of the guided meditations, Denise, to make sure that you can relax enough. Because you have to be able to relax and just be all trusting. And I know you trust me, but you know how that. You can visit all your past lifetimes and you can revisit them. But usually each session, your first session, we visit 3 lifetimes. And usually those are going to be the ones that are most relevant to what's going on in your current lifetime. That's going to help you the most. Like I was working with somebody today, and in a past life, she actually was in France, and she was like one of those servants, those chambermaids, you know, the people who work like in the bars and pubs and things like that. And in this lifetime, you know, there's some issues she has. Doesn't like being pictured. Doesn't feel comfortable, and some other things. And in the past lifetime, you know, this was in France, and we're going back to the time like Les Mis, so you understand. This part of her face was burnt. She didn't die in a fire, but there was an accident where either boiling water, we didn't go that far into it because I just got it on her, and I just said, listen, I got this in a past life for you, and it made sense to her. Sometimes, you know, Spirit will give me something that happened to you in a past lifetime that's going to help you, because in her world, she needs to be out forefront because she's an entertainer. She's in entertainment, so she needs to not be afraid of that. And she's absolutely gorgeous too, to boot. But she had been burned just here, just this side of her face, and then down to her neck. So that's usually the side she keeps covered. And she's kind of hid that side from the time she was little. But you know, for her, she was like, you know, it feels like you just released me. Like I have a sense of release. Because sometimes we go through things in this lifetime that we don't understand, that make no sense, but it's because, like Mel, she's on here, she died in a fire, and that's hence her fear of flying, her breathing issues and things like that. So sometimes definitely look into research people like Brian Weiss, Many Lives, Many Masters, because he was somebody who was just a regular doctor, a complete skeptic. And when you read his first book, it kind of takes him across his journey to realizing that there's so much more, and we do have past lifetimes and how it affects us medically. So you do go to a regular doctor for things, don't get it twisted. But there's some things that the medical world cannot fix, and some ailments that refuse to go away. There she is. I'm going to finish explaining really quick, Miriam, and then I'll bring you on. The path he took, how he ended up specializing in what he specializes now, and the people that he's worked with. Should you visit your current... Everybody's different. A lot of people, I will not do a past life regression until they do a soul retrieval in their current life, because they need to. But it's on a case-to-case basis of where we go. So it's each individual person. And then... You know, Bunny, I think both would be very beneficial for you, but I would do a past life with you. I would do it either order for you specifically, because I know you can go back into that state, so you would be fine. And after you do your regular lifetime, the 3 lifetimes, you can go back and visit your individual lifetimes again if you want to travel around more in them. But let's bring Miriam on now. You ready, Miriam? Are you ready, though? She fell asleep. How funny. All right, hold on. Let me see if she'll come on. It's good when you can sleep, fall asleep in the afternoon. It's amazing. It's so good when you can fall asleep. Hey, there's Lynn. How you doing?
Good. I just woke up from like a 5-minute nap, literally.
Back there is a little indigo baby, guys, just so you know. Little Nathan's an indigo baby.
Yeah, let me turn on the light. There.
Oh, and we're getting light. There he is.
Mm-hmm.
I see you. Okay. So this is Miriam. Introduce yourself.
Hello, Miriam. Hello, everybody.
Where are you from?
Oh, I'm from Oregon. I'm in the Pacific Northwest, in a small little area. Live in the country right now.
Mm-hmm. And what do you do for a living?
I am a correctional officer. I work in law enforcement.
And
for the last 4 years.
Not that I want to bring this up, but the past lives kind of helped you with it, plus the other sessions that we did. What were some of the traumas that you had to face in this lifetime that you've been working on getting over and releasing?
In my previous lifetime, I was a housewife.
Well, I'm talking this one. I'm talking current lifetime.
Oh, and this one?
Mm-hmm.
My ex-husband committed suicide 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And that was big trauma. It still makes me cry, but
I know it does.
And then recently being sick, with that was a big one.
Mm-hmm.
I think his death changed a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm. And so the only reason I brought that up is because the work that Miriam's been doing, not only with the sessions and the crystals, and doing her past lives, is helping her realize how she responds to things and why, and is actually helping her heal and move on, which is really important. And you've come so far with that, like acceptance and everything else. That's a completely different story. So explain to them about your past life regression, how you felt, the whole 9 yards, because I'm leaving it all to you. I need to answer questions here and there, and then I will ask you questions as I see them come up.
Yeah, so like when we did our past lives regressions, we decided to do the past lives because it was gonna be something fun, since I've been sick at home during the COVID, and we wanted to do something where I could enjoy, traveling and stuff. It ended up being very emotional for me. I think I felt like crying a lot of the time. I was really sad. Mm-hmm. And even like almost angry sometimes, but it made sense 'Cause I think we did a past life regression like the beginning of the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
back. It
Mm-hmm.
was really like early on, and then like slowly, things came out to where it was like what we were living right now. In my past lives, I've lived it before, and it helped me, be able to face everything that we're going through right now, and being able to like look at it with a different angle and say, I need to stay calm. I've been through this before. I can't let all my emotions win over me, and I
Mm-hmm.
had to be able to, be like, basically face adversity,
Mm-hmm.
and go on, because not every time will it be the same as the last before. I had to like look at the positives and like focus, pull those positives out of stuff. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm glad he's there. I knew he was going to be peeking in. Don't get it twisted. I knew he was going to be on. I knew you were going to be here. Okay, now what I want to do is Miriam, I allowed her to do the past life regression before any soul retrieval. Now, normally when you go through a past life regression, you're looking in and realizing who you were, what your purpose was, the main event in that lifetime, which was, the pivotal event and the lesson you may have learned. Now, because Miriam has been struggling so much, I needed her to be able to travel, and it's kind of like injecting a little bit of magic into your life,
Yep.
because she emotionally had been struggling so hard. And then the only thing Miriam's progression was when you do a soul retrieval first, you feel all of the traumas in this lifetime already, and you will have healed them. So it prepares you for a past life regression. So when you're looking on it, you have a place of understanding. Now, because we didn't do the soul retrieval first, you got to feel a lot of those feelings, but I think that was actually really important for you. Okay, go ahead. So now how did it feel being put through initially into it when we started going through the meditation and everything?
It was very calming. I felt like, at peace, like basically like I was at home,
Mm-hmm.
I felt very calm, and I just felt like just this internal peace altogether. Like deep inside, I could feel the peace there
Mm-hmm.
when I entered the hallway.
The sound is garbled, some kind of feedback and voices. I don't have anything on my end. Do you have anything on your end, like any TV or anything on?
No. You were garbled a little bit when you were talking, but it's better now.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll just talk slower. I don't know why, but go ahead. All right. So we brought you through. And what happened in your first lifetime?
In my first lifetime, I came in. Hold on, I know. Oh, of course. Not right now. In my first lifetime, I came in and I was like a young woman, and I remember seeing like a 50s dress, and I was dancing in a big ballroom. It was in the 50s, and then after that, I was in a big wooden house with those wraparound
Porches.
porches, and
Mm-hmm.
I was a housewife with a child on my hip, cleaning, around doing housework.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to say goodbye to my husband, and that's when the emotions started again. Like at first, like everything was perfectly fine, like I see just like creams and yellows, and I was perfectly content. But then, once I had to say goodbye to my husband because he's off to work, all the emotions start again, and I just get this anxiety that I was scared that he wasn't going to come home.
Okay. Now we're going to go through this a little bit because you have a lot in there. When you first came in, you were in the ballroom and dancing. What was the significance of that?
I believe how you've been saying a lot, the music, how I
Mm-hmm.
had to the music have always been one of my things where I can go back to and be happy and just, dance and release myself.
Now, did you see you meeting your husband there? I know it's been a while. Was that where you met your husband?
I honestly don't know. Possibly, most likely.
Okay. Did you get a name? Did you get a name in this lifetime?
In this lifetime, I did. I just don't remember right now for some reason.
I know sometimes it may come back to you. I know sometimes it's hard because I know you got names in all the lifetimes.
I got names of them, but I just can't. I got names from them, but I don't remember for some reason right now, just because of all that stuff that's going on with my illness.
Yeah.
My memory's been bad.
I know. Now, when you went to to the point where you're at home and cooking, you got emotional because of the fact that, you know, he was leaving. Now, why were you so afraid when he was leaving? Did you know what he was doing for a living?
In that life, he was a law enforcement officer.
Mm-hmm.
And in that time, Chicago, from what it seems like, was very dangerous. So I was in my life, you know, I feel like if he left, I didn't know if he was going to come home or not.
Mm-hmm. So you would go through that. Now, this is important, Mary. Number one, she did just say, and you didn't even say it before, she was in Chicago in the 1940s. She was able to see the clothes that you were wearing and feel the anxiety. You know, in this lifetime, you suffer so much anxiety of people getting hurt, people being taken from you. And that lifetime kind of helped point out where a lot of that anxiety comes from, besides the fact that you've kind of stayed in the same type of environment consecutively.
Mm-hmm.
Was there anything that you can think important in that lifetime that you need to talk about?
I think what I've learned from that lifetime is to be positive now, you know, to which, you know, hope for the positive outcomes instead of, you know, being with having that fear all the time. Mm-hmm. I think that's what I took from that lifetime, was having all the positive, more of a positive outlook in life instead of, you know, always living in that fear.
And in this lifetime, her other half is also in corrections and is also in the jail every day. So both of them, when they actually go off to work, you know, have to worry about with riots that are going on in the prisons and everything else going on, if one or the other is going to come home safe. And this also helped when police officers and corrections officers in their area were actually being targeted. When the BLM movement started and everything else, and they were actually being targeted and followed at their homes. So we did this passive regression when all of that was going on. So I'm glad that they was able to help you with that. Now, let's go to your next lifetime. Did I put in your thing the door? Was there engraving on the door? I can't remember. Okay, so explain the door.
I don't remember the engravings. I remember the doors. They were big wooden doors. Mm-hmm. And I saw like a lot of gold everywhere. There were a lot of antique doors and gold. I don't recall engravings perfectly, but I know there was multiple doors, but I always went for the antique looking ones. Those were the ones, you know, that called me, and I kept opening those.
Those are the ones you were called to. Now, your second lifetime, what happened?
In my second lifetime, I came back and I am in war. I am a soldier. I look down and I can see my military boots and military uniform, and I am a man. And this lifetime, I do remember my name. My name is Alejandro. And I remember being very upset with the commander or the lieutenant, whoever was in charge of us at that time, because we basically went into, like, you know, into our deaths. And so I remember being there, you know, with a whole bunch of other soldiers and being really upset. So I remember a lot of emotions as well.
Do you remember going into battle? What was the pivotal point?
I do.
Okay.
I do remember going into battle.
Now, that lifetime, did you die in battle in that lifetime? I can't remember what you told me.
I did. I did die in battle. Because I remember being so upset that I knew we were basically walking into our deaths right there. Yes.
Anything else about that lifetime?
No.
Okay. Where was the war taking place, do you think?
Sometime early 1900s, so.
So you think it was like the First World War?
Yeah.
That's what it felt like to you? Now, do you remember getting the names? Besides, I know you got your own name, which was great. You remember the time period it was. You remember what was happening. Do you remember the names of any of the other soldiers that were with you or any other people that were important? Did you recognize anybody's energy in that lifetime?
I don't, but I honestly, I felt like Lee was with me in a lot of the lifetimes. Like, you know, like I felt like I was following him, like he was ahead
Mm-hmm.
in a lot of the lifetimes. Nathan, please.
Yeah, put the dragon down. Just let her tell her story. She's telling stories. Put your dragon down, kiddo. I'll talk to you in a little bit. Okay, so that was that lifetime. Now the third lifetime. How was the door that you went through in that lifetime?
That door.
We really have
This
to
one was
start
small,
doing these right after we do the regressions because it would be so much
right?
more
It's
vivid.
so long. I think this one was a smaller door, and it was almost like concrete, because
Mm-hmm.
in this lifetime it's more in the 1800s, and it
Mm-hmm.
was smaller and lighter looking, like
Mm-hmm.
almost those light grays.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And did you get if you were a man or a woman in that lifetime?
In this lifetime, I was a female,
Okay.
and I was dressed in all white
Mm-hmm.
in a nurse gown,
In a nurse's
a white
gown.
nurse
Did you
gown.
get your name?
And this one was Sophia,
Mm-hmm.
and I was in France.
Okay.
I was in France.
Okay. What else about that lifetime struck you?
In this lifetime, I remember seeing a lot of people that were ill and hurt,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to help them. I tried helping as much as people as I could in this lifetime, but I ended up being imprisoned. I was a prisoner of war. It seems like there was some sort of war at the time as well in this life.
Okay.
And ended up being stuck in a concrete cell. And I remember touching I could actually feel the walls, and they felt moist and cold. I can see I can feel the concrete
Mm-hmm.
as I'm asleep, and I can feel the moisture.
Mm-hmm.
hmm And then I just, the whole time I was in that cell, I felt bad because I couldn't help everybody that was hurt.
So you were more concerned with helping other people than yourself.
Correct.
Okay. Now, there was also a connection with being a nun as well.
Yeah.
What
Yes.
was that connection you felt in your past life from the religious angle?
In that aspect, I believe that I've been able, because I felt like I was a nurse, but I was also a nun. So I've done the research, and in early 1800s,
Mm-hmm.
the nurses back then were nuns. So
Mm-hmm.
at that time, it was when I was a nun and I was also a nurse. I worked in the medical field to help others.
Mm-hmm. Now, what's important to note is as soon as she had such a vivid past life regression, and it made so much sense to her for how hard she fights for people now and how protective she is in her anxiety and how passionate she gets about things, especially because in every one of her lifetimes that we visited, she was in service. But she was not only in service, but she was taking care of people and also putting her life at risk, or somebody she loved was in the position where they were putting their life at risk for others. So in this lifetime, I mean, and in the beginning, she's come so far. She was stubborn as hell. She
Oh,
was
yeah.
so stubborn. She was so blocked. She was just looking for so many answers, and didn't understand all of these things were happening. So her past life brought a lot of clarity, but was so good, which I always tell people to do. After her
Right.
past life, it was so vivid. She actually went online and started researching. And she started finding things and uniforms and everything that looked familiar to her. She knew them. She knew who she was. She knew what she was wearing. She knew where the location was. And it kind of stayed with you afterwards because you've had a lot of breakthroughs from them, haven't you, since then?
Oh, yes. Yes,
What
definitely.
what
Definitely.
breakthroughs did happen?
So I've been so much more calm, and even my connection, with my current partner, it's been almost a 360, because my anxieties, they're existent, but I'm able to control them and know where they're coming from instead of thinking why am I why am I feeling like this, those questioning. Now I don't question it, I know where it comes from, so I'm not able to I'm able to remain calm and
Mm-hmm.
like I said, keep a positive outlook instead of having that fear all the time that something bad's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm able to, um, gave me this thing like, oh, this is why I'm so passionate about helping others. This is, why I'm so passionate about the military and law enforcement. And this is, why I'm always so scared about, my loved ones getting hurt. That's like, I'm always like wanting to protect everybody. That's been tremendous. Like, nobody can understand, how I was, a few months before we even did this, I was constantly scared for everything. Always had like a game plan of what,
Yeah, and you would have panic attacks and lock yourself in the bathroom and give me a call and say, listen, this is what I'm feeling right now. What do I do? I had to talk you down a couple of times. I did. And so out of the whole experience, how did you feel it was having me with you through the experience? Did you feel me in the lifetimes with you?
Yes. Yeah, I definitely did. I felt, it was basically, like with you being able to be there and talk me through, I was, once I start feeling all the emotions, you tell me like, let it go, and just, let's go on to the next, but you would always tell me like focus why you came back to this life. It's supposed to teach you something. And then, at the beginning, I was so confused. I'm like, why did this happen? Like I'm feeling all these emotions, but with the events that happened during those lives, I was able to understand the way I feel now and able to control my emotions. And so you were able to help me like almost like open up a different, what's like almost like a deeper vision of what was actually being shown to me.
And you went immediately OBE, outer body. She went like whoosh. A lot of people, like the very beginning of a past life regression, I take you through it slowly and I set the stage and I bring you through because for some reason it takes them a while to go under and allow their conscious mind to release and their subconscious to move forward. She immediately went. And when she says she had me there is because when you're in your past lives, I can actually see what's going on with you. And I'm walking through it with you. So when I can see that you're starting to struggle or feel things, like I've had people not want to leave a past life because they were really like, Ashley didn't want to leave the one lifetime. I'm like, you can come back. We got to go. You can't stay. That's why it's so important to have a sitter with you when you do these things, somebody that's there with you so that I can calm you down and I can pull you up and help you understand all of these things. So is there anything else about the whole experience that you kind of want to tell them about?
I honestly think it was super beneficial and I really recommend it to everybody because that way, if there's any fears or like, anything that they feel deep down that they don't understand or like, any trauma that they're living through right now, it helps open up literally doors, like how we walked through the hallway and there was doors. It helps you open up the doors to like find answers and like to be able to, acknowledge, that those lives happened and that even though those, in those lives you weren't able to fix the situation, now in this life, you can go, back, think about, like there was a bigger purpose for it. So now, in this lifetime, I can, focus on something else, be able to like close that chapter basically and help with all.
You just said a key word. You just said a key word. Let's see if you know if you did. Knowing what your life has been so far. And knowing she is going through health issues that they can't figure out what's wrong with her. And she's limited to types of doctors she can go to. Like they don't have functional medicine doctors and energy doctors in the area. So she's struggling with things with the work in the jail and things going on in work. Now, why everything happens for a reason. It may suck. But after doing your past life regression and the journey since then, why do you think you're suffering this illness right around that they can't figure out? That is going to get figured out. You're going to be okay. But why do you feel that might be happening?
I'm not supposed to be behind the walls right now. I'm not supposed to be at the prison right now.
Nope.
It would be like everything. I'm seeing specialists and everything. They say that everything, all my labs, all my diagnosis, all my symptoms, they're all conflicting. It's like it's not cancer, it's not this, but yet you have all the blood work that shows this. So it's like I just don't understand. And all I can see is like, it's like a curse and a blessing at the same time that I'm not supposed to be there. I'm supposed to be at home healing.
So, and this is important, and it sucks. It sucks what you're going through. It's horrible. And we're working through it. We're slowly working through it. And it's going to get figured out. And you can't be in the jail right now. You can't be there, especially. But there's a shift in your past couple of lifetimes, you know, in two of them, except for one where you were happy being home, being the housewife with the baby. But the person you were connected to, like in this lifetime, Lee goes to the jail. He deals with some of the most ferocious inmates that they have, you know, which you have to fear for. So you kind of relived, you kind of decided to take on two of your roles. One as the other half, the wife, the mother, you know, having to worry when he's there, but also you were in the same position where you were there too, because you're the same thing. You're supposed to be shifting and doing something completely different in this lifetime. You've known that for the past 3 years. You have had unrest at that job for the past 2 years, and been frustrated and fighting to make things change because of how things are being run and everything else. So universe had been giving you, your angels had been telling you, this is not what you're supposed to be doing. And that's why you kept on trying to change things. You tried to change things there, but the thing is you're not meant to do it in that environment anymore. So it's almost like universe, in a way, you're going through some bullshit, but they're also giving you that pass, that opportunity to have the time away you needed to figure out what it is that you really want. Right. And once you start waking up to that, things are going to start shifting and start feeling better for you. Because you are home more. You have had, you know, it's just them figuring out, but it really, I know it's autoimmune. I know it is. I know it is. I know it has to do with your adrenal glands. I know everything it has to do with, you know, and it's also affecting your breathing. And that's why the functional, we have to find you the functional medicine doctor. I'm going to have to contact the one in New Jersey that I dealt with to see if there's anybody you could go to there, because it takes about 6 months, but I'm telling you, that's the thing that saved my life, because I had almost died from a sickness they couldn't diagnose. And then this doctor basically said, okay, he looked at the numbers and was able to look a little bit deeper. Yeah, so, the CT scan actually said one of my lungs is collapsed. And I hadn't told you that, you know, whereas like basically slowly, we had already talked about, like, my organs will slowly start shutting down, and they are not figuring out what it is. So. And they need to handle that, because your breathing, I knew, was completely affected in your chest right now. So you're not having to go back to work, are you? Not right now. They extended your disability? Yes. Good. Yeah, because especially where my left side, it's numb, and then I lose strength whatsoever. Yeah, so you can't. Feeling strength, and I still have, like, those, like, mini, like, almost like a stroke type symptoms. So we're going to do a neurologist, and we're going to do more testing. Which is important. So, good. And we're going to go up to Seattle this time around. Okay, good. Yeah, you have to look for specialists. You're going to have to travel. You don't have a choice. You're in too remote of a place. And that's not bad things, because that opens you up to new things as well. It's also giving your other half the opportunity to rise to the occasion. Yes, which is something that you needed to see. Him rise and know that he loved you just as much as you love him. You needed to, because you always took care of things. So this was actually, inadvertently, it sucks for you, but was good for that side of you and what you were going through. Okay, does anybody have any questions that they want to ask while we're going through this? I love you. So you got to be with your mom more. How lucky are you? Yes. I'm just waiting. This thing delays so much. That's the only thing. It delays so much. So do you think you're going to do a soul retrieval at some point? Yes, I will. Definitely to help relieve more of the anxiety, you know, that I have now and then. It'll help with, and like Daryl Ann, oh, she's so funny. She said to go hang out with her mom. It's funny because I can never read these things. I hate being on a computer. It sucks. Or a phone that I don't know how to work. Her brother committed suicide, and she lost her dad. So all of you have such amazing, a lot of similarities and things that you can help each other with, which is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Daryl Ann, where is your mom located with the healers? Just out of curiosity, she said go hang out with her mom. She's got a circle of great healers, which is good. Trying to see if we missed any question. There's Brizzo, there's Yellow Wolf. Hello to all you guys. Oh, in Spokane, Washington. Oh, that's right. She's in Washington too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how did you read that?
Because it's on my side too. That's how I read it. Hey, you're perfect for Halloween. You look like a jack-o'-lantern. I'm going to call you Spooky Tooth.
Right.
You like your tooth. Yeah, you don't need. We got your own little live pumpkin there. What are you going to do for Halloween?
What are you going to be for Halloween? Tell her.
A beast mode morpher from Power Rangers.
Oh, wow, that's really cool because Power Rangers, we had that when I was growing up, and I'm 49, so that's when they first started when I was younger. Really, actually, when my son was younger. I can't say me. We had He-Man.
Really? That's awesome. We had the Power Rangers.
Okay, so we have a question. What is a soul retrieval, and how do you visit your past lives? They're unfamiliar with it. So if anybody else has any specific questions for Miriam, have them come up. Miriam, pay attention to what's being asked, and then I'll explain it. A soul retrieval, you go through your current lifetime. From the time you're born, whether you come out doing C-section or you come out your mama's birth canal, that is your very first trauma. And they call it soul defragmentation, where through your life you suffer trauma, either by pieces of you that are stolen and taken without your permission, or pieces that you give away and it went awry, kind of thing. So what a soul retrieval does is it takes you back through your current lifetime, helps you locate those periods of your life that caused you the most trauma, that blocks you the most now. Like with Miriam, she has certain things with her anxiety, like within her current lifetime, which actually goes back to her prior marriage and things that happen that affect her current relationship. That's what we call the baggage, the fears and everything that comes up. So what the soul retrieval does is we bring you back, and I actually bring you back, and you have to locate it. You locate those harms and traumas. You have to feel them, all the feelings, no matter how bad they are. Rise up in you so you can feel them, because you have to feel that pain and locate that trauma for you then to be able to heal it. So then what happens is once we feel it and locate it, we heal it, and we take those soul fragments and put them back into our own spirit again, so we're more whole. And that helps us move on in relationships and our lives and get over fears. So that you really do feel. Like a lot of people's like, am I supposed to be exhausted after this and sad and this and that? You have to process the emotions. And after a soul retrieval and after a past life regression, you still continue to feel these emotions and experience things. Like after your past life regression, what were you experiencing the following days? Because I know you were still going through things the following days, like you were still in that place and dreaming more.
I was like sad, and I was like experiencing almost like the grief, of the loss, but having dreams, like even still, like I have dreams and then I just wake up, and I feel that sadness, like in my chest. And it's just like, I don't know.
When you come to terms with it. You have to come to terms. Just like the one girl that we had do it that was able to understand Spanish. She understood Spanish. So look up, Jen, see if you can find a functional medicine doctor. It's different than a naturopath. They deal with the energy and everything else in the water and everything in your body. Because you have naturopaths there. That I know you have.
Yeah. So I have somebody asking a question. If I would go back to Bunny, she wants to know if I would go back to one of my past lives or if I would rather go to a different one. I think the ones I already went back to, I've already seen what, what I needed to see out of them, I would rather go back to something else. Because the ones I went back to previously were very emotional. Even though, they helped me, I'd rather, I think I already...
You went back and you learned the lesson that you needed to learn in those lifetimes and understood the feelings. So you don't need to go back to them. So you're going to go on an adventure and find some other ones, which was initially what I was looking for you. But Spirit had something completely different in mind. So the soul retrieval, and because she hadn't done the soul retrieval yet, she had to come to terms with things in her current lifetime to be able to get unblocked and move forward, because she was just kept on hitting walls, and she doesn't hit those walls anymore. The past life regression, you go back to your other lives and you actually see who you were, if you were male or female, where you were, what time period, the pivotal event in your life at that time. So that's what your soul retrieval is. You're more witnessing your life, and when you come back, you feel it a little bit, but it's not as emotional as the soul retrieval would have been. And now that I think about it, Marion, you were probably better off doing it that way, because if you had dealt with great soul retrieval, you would have felt it in full force. So I think that was the way of getting done what needed to get done for you to help you move on, and showing you who you were. Because I know you were so very excited about being a nurse and a nun, and it made sense to you. And so excited about, being in the military, and you understood everything that happened, which was so important. Like Kane, I did soul retrieval with him, and he went back to his self. I think he was in 6th grade at a lunch table and was able to sit with himself. He had really good. Kane's had some amazing sessions and had so much happen, which it just was such a blessing. It was really good to go through yours too. I mean, all you guys really get to experience this with you. It's such a blessing to be able to go and help you heal after it.
Definitely.
So now the way we have to deal with what your sickness is right now, not knowing what it is, you have to go from it from a different energy, and you've changed your energy in more positive. Like, you were so afraid you were going to have to go back to work, and I'm like, they're going to give you unemployment. You don't have to go back to it. And now they're all realizing that something's wrong with you, because they keep on having your lung collapse and everything else. So now that they know that it's so it's just going to be a process, but you're going to be okay. You will go right through it. Okay.
Oh yeah, definitely. Where before you're live, I'm like, I'm just going to take like a 5-minute nap, and I passed out for like 20 minutes. I'm like, really? So yeah, there's definitely something wrong, and they'll end up figuring it out. We're closer than we were back then, so I'm just remaining.
You've come so far, which is so important. I'm trying to see if we got anything else that came up here.
Stop, please. Yes.
Just looking.
Stop, please.
Did you, the funniest thing is over the summer, did you do any gardening?
I tried to, but then we had a lot of storms.
So yes, I tried to do gardening because you were supposed, you were supposed to be working a little bit more with the earth.
The earth.
Because you connect with the water so much. You need to, why don't you I'll send you the kits. I sent one to Rachel. Rachel's on here. A lady who actually has like the herbs, where you can do the herbs and stuff and grow them in the house. Because you need to feel like
herbs inside the house and plants inside the house.
That's important, because that's going to help you heal as well. Huge.
Yeah. I have plants right next to where I recline and like have the sunlight, and then I have 3 plants there.
Good. Did you grow peppermint? Did you grow peppermint?
I did. I grew peppermint, rosemary, and basil, because I know those are stuff that helps my stomach.
The peppermint also, and if you get eucalyptus and peppermint, eucalyptus, and clove actually help your breathing.
Okay, I wanted to get a eucalyptus tree, a bush.
Which would help, especially the peppermint, because when you can't breathe and things, you can actually breathe it in, and that actually clears your sinuses. It's a natural way to clear your sinuses, is inhaling peppermint. Okay, I have a hard time focusing. I definitely have a lot of current trauma. I don't know how to visit my past life. No, you're not in trouble if it's a meditation, because I have done it with so many people, and she could tell you, I take you back. It's written specifically for you with a specific type of music. You absolutely You just have to connect to the right person to work with you. And I'm not saying, I know I could definitely help you go back. Doesn't mean you have to work with me at all. I just know that I don't think I've ever had a situation where I've worked with anybody. And Heather, she's not on right now. She had a hard time initially going back, and we worked through it. So you wouldn't have a hard time, because past life regressions are a combination of binaural beats and vibrations in your music, along with the incense that's burning that raises your vibrational level, along with a little bit of hypnosis and guided meditation. Is all combined. That's written specifically for you to bring you back there. But you had no problem going back at all.
No.
At all.
I usually like get into deep meditation, and it's hard to bring me back.
Mm-hmm.
I can't.
Yeah, Kane is doing a live, Mel. We're going to do a big live. He's done so much work. I'm trying to see. All right. They're all very quiet tonight. This is very odd for them. This is very odd for you guys not to have like a billion questions to ask. Very odd. So what was your favorite thing about doing the past life regression?
My favorite thing was visiting, the past lives and knowing what I was. And especially like, growing up, I always wanted to be, I remember kindergarten, I wanted to be a soldier. And then as I became a teenager, I wanted to be a nun. So it's like little things. I'm like, ooh, this makes sense. Like, why the way I am as a person now. It made like so much sense. So it's like, to me after that, I'm like, ooh, this is, this is interesting. I'm like, it makes sense of how, a little 5-year-old girl wanted to be a soldier. It was because I was a soldier in the past life.
Mm-hmm. And it all makes sense to you. I definitely need to send you the links for some of the energy healing stuff too. I think it would help you. Did you cut the sugar out of your diet like I told you to?
Oh yeah, definitely. Sugar and red meats and milk. I've cut off a lot of stuff. Hey, so I've cut out a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like fried foods, I think everything.
Now, when you went through the past life, did you get any of your spirit guides? Did anybody show up? I know sometimes, like, did anybody show up, or was it just all me with you? Did you have anything else?
It was just you. Yeah, it was just you. But I knew they were there because I usually have a lot, but I just never see them. And especially when I got really sick, I remember the veil was super thin, and I can remember seeing like almost like a half circle of just people surrounding me. So I know they're always there.
Yeah, so you did initially when they helped cross you over. That's why you went OBE so quickly. That's definitely why you went OBE so quickly, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad. Now all we have to do is work on you feeling better.
Yes, that would be amazing.
And the next time we'll go to 3 different lifetimes. Okay, since your past life regression, have you found any info on who you were specifically?
Yeah, I found out who I was specifically right away. Is that what the question is, right?
Yeah. When she went through, when she went through it, she was able, because she saw it so vividly, she was able to go back and locate. If you're, so that's what she meant by that. Do they come to be nosy or to guide you? A lot of times, no, it's not hard to get to past lives at all. It's actually very easy, and you're going to be able to get there really easy, Fitzpatrick. Which isn't going to be hard. And I'm going to set up your appointment for Tuesday night after you're done at work, just so you know, because I got your text. Could she find herself in records? When she was going back to that time, it's actually very hard to do that. Did you actually find yourself in your name in records of who you were?
No, I haven't. I have, because I didn't get a last name. I just got first names. I've been looking, and like a lot of the pictures, like especially early, the mid 1800s, I can see there being pictures and stuff like that, but like a last name, I don't. But I can relate to a lot of the stuff from what I've read.
And you got to
But
remember when you're going back to like the 1800s, the 1700s, the 1600s, you know, your records are a lot different than when you're coming into more of the modern age.
oh
Um,
yeah.
the fact that her first time she got her first name was huge.
Hmm.
Um, can you feel like you were in a past life in our current life? Absolutely. Absolutely. In your current life, you could be so much the same type of person that you basically, I don't know if you would necessarily feel like you're in a past life, your current life. You remember things. You have to remember what they call deja vu isn't necessarily deja vu. When you're dealing with quantum physics and everything else, time is really like this lifetime is a lot of people do believe that you've already lived this lifetime and experienced these things, but you can experience moments of deja vu and have flashes of your past lifetime, and that's actually a sign of you starting to wake up to who you are. Because each lifetime that you have, you become awakened earlier and you know more. That's how your wisdom grows. And that's how you actually, you know, transcend and you kind of upgrade your level to the point where you get all the work done you're meant to so that you can finally go home and not have to come back again. How did you know what time you were in? How did you know what time you were in, Miriam?
By the way I was dressed, and then by the way, basically the current events that were happening at the time, I knew. I just had a sense of knowing where I was because I knew my name and I knew the time period and the cities I was in and the areas I was in.
And the
I
type of
just, I mean,
and the type of uniform you were wearing. And
hmm
when you
yeah.
see the uniforms, like she specifically saw the nurse's uniform in detail.
Hmm.
Like when I tell
Oh
you,
yeah.
she immediately sent me um, pictures. Within, I think it was
Hmm.
within 45 minutes, I get pictures
Yeah.
of what the uniform looked like for um, the guys. When you were a guy, got the picture of the nurse's outfit. We connected it with you know, when I researched it, going back in France at the time, it was when I felt that religious connection of being a nun. It's because most nuns were nurses. So when she was
Yeah.
looking at these pictures, they looked familiar to her. They look like home to you. They look like the place you've been before that you've never been. I could almost guarantee she could go back to that town and actually know where things are. You do past life regressions. I have to get the girl who does my hair now. Actually went back to London, and she does hair by coastal or by continental. And when she went back to London, she specifically, when she was there on that shoot, went to the castle and went to the place, and she was able to go in the room and to the hidden block, the blocks you could pull out that was hidden
Wow, that's
where
awesome.
she used to put stuff. So
Hmm.
you know, as you go longer, like your first time in a past life, you're just peeking into those lives. You're taking 3 lives,
Uh-huh.
you're peeking in, finding out who you
Yep.
were, where it was, what that lesson might have been in that lifetime, and then you're scooting out. When you go back into
Hmm.
the 10th lifetimes, then you can travel around and focus on one lifetime if you choose to. But if it was a lifetime
Right.
where you weren't that happy or things were a little bit traumatic, you don't have to visit because you already learned your lesson, which was what you needed. You understood what it was about. Um,
Hmm.
so, which was really good. Hold on one second. Let me see. Starcatcher. He actually has an absolutely amazing salon in New Jersey too. Let me see. Is it like a vivid dream or more like a haze and just information you're receiving or thinking?
To me, it was like a vivid dream because I can vividly see what I'm wearing, who I am. I can see the buildings. I could even feel like when I was in prison, the concrete, and I can feel, the waxy feel of the concrete and the wetness of it. I could
Mm-hmm.
feel everything. The same, when I was at
So
war,
for
where I can
you, it
see,
was like you there. It was actually like you were
yeah,
living it again. So it was
yes,
more than a vivid dream.
hmm
Depending on how open you are, it can be when you go back that you feel like you're living that life. That's why a lot of times, like her one lifetime, I had to talk her out of it because she was getting so upset because she was afraid she was going to lose her husband who went off to work because he was in law enforcement, what was going on. Ashley, I had to tell her to leave that damn lifetime. because she had her husband, she had her damn baby. She didn't want to leave. It's everything she wants, you know, which is happening in this lifetime. But back then, she had it all. So that feeling that she had. So sometimes, you know, it's so vivid that you don't want to leave and that you have to choose to leave. That's why I have to stress again, it's so important. You have somebody, you're not doing one of the pre-recorded ones online that you go on YouTube, because you don't have a sitter there. You don't have somebody there to pull you out, to wake you up, because you don't want to be in a position where you get caught in that world and then something happens to you, like, quote unquote, not to be scary, it's a form of like a psychotic break, because you're happy. There's a lot of people that have gone and weren't able to get back. So that's why it's very, very important you do this responsibly and with somebody who knows what they're doing. There's Joe. Joe did a past life with me. She did a soul retreat. She's done a lot of work. She a lot of stuff that she went through. Trying to see. Let's see. How did you know what time you were in? You already did that. You answered that. Trying to see. And Victor, when I read what you say, can we feel like you were in a past life in your current life? I get that you almost have something that's a recurring dream almost that you can't shake. And you're actually able to envision that when you're awake as well. So it's not only a sleeping vision, but a waking vision. And that's strictly a memory of something that was real and that happened, and evidently something that you have to deal with. Not a bad thing, but it's kind of a lot of the reason why you are the way you are now. Okay, I'm trying to see if we missed anything. Here's Joe. Joe missed it. Did you just jump on, Joe?
Yeah.
She did just jump on. So, but that was really good, though. You had a really good past life regression.
I did. Yeah, they helped a lot.
Juan, you're going to have to re-watch this. You missed it. Did it affect how you communicate with your family and work? After going through it did? Okay, explain.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I'm more calm now. Because before I was like, I was always so overprotective. And I didn't understand, they would literally tell me, calm down, like, everything's okay. And I'm like, no, not everything's not okay. But now, after I did those past lives, I'm like, okay. I'm like, everything is okay. I'm just, living those past traumas back then. But now that I've, went back, I've, been able to, accept, what happened then and know that it's not happening now. I'm able to, remain calm. And it's, helped me so much. Not having to, be constantly, in fear. So yes, it's helped me, and I haven't been back to work, so.
Yeah, and I noticed that your language has changed now in your social media posts. They've changed to where you're not so angry. You're not so angry at people that you were fearing for your life, and that's a true thing. And I've worked with Miriam enough where I can follow her, because a lot of you guys don't get insulted that I don't follow you. I can't help you the way you need to be helped if I follow your social media, because when I first start working with you, I don't want to know nothing about your life. I don't want to be prompted. I don't want to see what's going on, so that when we have sessions and I give you stuff that's real and current and ongoing and something that happened in the past, it's genuine and it's pure. It's not something that that was prompted, or I saw something come up in your feed and I guess we need to work on this today. So it takes a while. Eventually I do start following people, but I do not do that until I know all that major work has been done. So that the information you're getting is valid and it is real and it is straight from the other side. It's not something that I researched. Because I take what I do with you guys very, very seriously. I take your lives into my hands when I work with you. So for me, that's so serious and so important. So don't ever get insulted if I don't follow you. I'm being your bestest friend by none, because then you know everything I'm telling you is real, and how it is. I know everybody, a lot of people get very upset when they're like, why isn't she following me? And it's nothing personal. It's because I want to be able to help you. And I get to see you guys all in the world anyway. Okay. Now, how did it better? Because I know it bettered you and Lee. How did it better your current relationship?
A lot. Like, we almost have like we have a way better connection now. Like, we're able to talk, and there's even like less anger between both of us. Like, because we were both frustrated, with work and everything, and so we're both just more calm around each other and just happy. So remember how you would always tell me, it's like, just relax. All he wants is happiness, and so like I'm actually be that cheerful self that he needed, to calm him. And
well,
so we're
you're
both
creating the calm. You're creating your safe haven within your own home when everything is going so crazy around it. And
exactly.
isn't there? You have a stepson, right?
Yes.
I feel like that there was some sort of breakthrough with him recently too. You had a shift. There was some kind of event that caused a shift. I don't know if I would call it a breakthrough, but there's been a shift with him that you might want to look into, which is leaning him more towards your guys' side than the other side.
Okay.
Than his mom's side. His mom's side. There's been a shift of events for him. So you might want to start, remember when I said start connecting and talking to him a little bit more?
Yeah.
He had a breakthrough where he saw the truth, which is huge, but that's something that you need to discuss with him to have it transfer into the closeness with your current heart, because he's not affecting little man in the back so much anymore.
Okay.
Like little man's allowed to be, has been, he's not scaring him so much anymore. Let's just put it that way, which is good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is really good. So, hello, Miss Maldonado. Let's see, anybody else? Okay. Does anybody else got anything else? Nothing else. I am so surprised with these guys today. Huh?
I'm like so quiet tonight.
You guys were crazy Monday night. You were all insane. It's a lot to process too. When you have questions but not sure how to word them. So why don't you word them the way you're thinking them, and being I do what I do, I should be able to translate them and answer them and get the gist. And just so you know, there's nothing, because there are a lot of people that are just coming into this, and that this is a lot for them to bite off, for them to chew, that are learning to believe and learning to understand that this stuff is real and it's not fake. So there's nothing that you say, you're just listening and learning. But you have questions too, Mel. And normally, Mel, to answer your question from before, when your guides aren't being nosy, the guides that come with you are there to assist you and help you and keep you safe. It's like having your own cocoon of safety around you, because that's what your spirit guides and all that are there for. They're there to guide you. But they're guiding you on a path and keeping you there so you can come to the realizations on your own. Because I can't tell you everything. You have to experience certain things for you to be able to do the work and understand and know. Because I could tell you all day long, but you have to experience things to really be able to feel them and know them and fix what you need to fix or learn what you need to learn. It's like your mother can tell you all day long, don't put your hand on a hot stove, it's going to get burnt. That kid, it don't matter. They're putting their hand on their eyes, a little bit of flesh sticking on there, and they're like, ow. And some of them do that 2 or 3 times before they get the picture. It's the same idea. Okay.
Definitely.
So there's no judgment. Anything you have to say is important and valid. And so there's nothing you can't say that won't be answered or won't be attempted to, or we would take the wrong way. I wouldn't mind doing it, but I want to do it in person. Oh, I do watch over you while I do it now. Don't get it twisted. You guys are on video. You guys are on video with your side muted. So I see everything that's going on. So not only am I watching over you, but the thing is when I go into the past life regression, I have to be in it with you, and I am able to do that virtually. I don't have to be in person, but if you guys want to set up some kind of event or something that gets me to your area, I have no problem coming in and doing an event and the whole 9 yards, because I've done that before. If you can't get to me. Oh, our past job, your past life is an open book. It's like reaching your Akashic records, Fitzpatrick, and you're going to lose that. You don't plan a past life according to your natal charts. You don't, or past traumas. Your past life, you actually walk down and you choose the lives that draw you into them. There's specific lives that draw you into them. Because, like, her lives were very relevant to her current lifetime of the lessons she needed to know and what she needed to see. So it could help her break free and move forward. It gave her, like, a release, which was so important. So you get brought where you're supposed to go, and then you go to the other ones. Now, once you've been in a lifetime, you can go back and spend a longer period of time. When I do people's, like, astrological charts and things like that, that's coinciding also with reading them as well. You have to understand, be very careful of who you have do your astrological charts too, because they've made it very simple, whereas everything I've learned, I've actually read, I've actually researched. It didn't come from software. They now have software that they put in all your coordinates, they charge you a whole bunch of money, and it spits out your chart and who you are and this and that. So I've actually taken people that have had that done, that I actually come and translate it to who they are and what's going on within their lifetimes. So, but that's a totally different thing and a totally different type of reading. The traumas from past lives file, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if you don't, that's the whole karma thing. Do traumas from past lives follow you into this life? Like, are certain things just destiny and things your soul has to live through? There's karma and there's dharma. Karma is guess what? I tell people, you better make yourself right in this lifetime when you go through it. Okay? Because even if you can't get to somebody to apologize for a harm you did or something that happened, by you just working and being in the state where you're actually speaking it to the universe, you're in, if it's truly meant, you're trying to make amends. Because for what you don't make amends to and own up to in this lifetime or don't earn, you have to come back and do it over again until you get it right. Like Miriam has experienced a couple of her lifetimes over and over again. It was the stubbornness in her. In this one, the universe kind of bitch slapped her and said, listen, we are going to change what your job and your position is in this lifetime. So we're going to throw the bump in the road of you going through these health issues to get you to really think about, do I want to be in the jail anymore, or do I want to be productive and help others in another way where I'm healing and helping people and being that wife that I want to be and doing the work I truly want to do versus going in and trying to deflect people like when you're in the jail. So absolutely. People here who have had asthma have found out that in a past life they were taking the medications and everything here and it wasn't helping their asthma. They did a past life regression. They found that they died of smoke inhalation in a fire, or they drowned, they couldn't breathe. Those people, and it's been documented, have gone back into the past life, acknowledged and recognized that, come back into this lifetime, and no longer do they have asthma. You know, people who get heartburn that can't be cured on a constant level have gone back and actually realized they were out of a battlefield and they were run through by a sword right by their sternum where they were getting their heartburn. By seeing that, the medications that weren't working, all of a sudden, they're not getting the heartburn anymore. So it's a little bit of combination of everything. It's such a huge subject. And there's certain things that you actually develop when you're created, your contracts, you say, or is it just destiny and things your soul has to live through? You're able to choose the path of your life. But when you are created, you basically, they call it a soul contract. You're given a soul name and you actually make an agreement there of what your job is going to be, because don't ever think that one of you don't matter, because you all have a very specific purpose. And sometimes these contracts can be so old that you have to go through something where you turn around and you change it because you no longer need to be bound by ancient contracts. So it just depends how many lifetimes you live too. It's like it's huge. It's a lot. It's a lot to try to explain in such a small period of time. But there's certain jobs that you're meant to do. Like I do what I do. I've done it every lifetime. Am I going to get to go home? No, I'm going to be here through the end of time. You know, it's just that was my contract and who I am. I was put here in service. So we all have our jobs. She's always been in law enforcement. She's always been a defender of people. She's always fought for we're going to say her country or the places and the people that she lived and protected. That was what her thing was. She signed that contract. Now the universe is saying is now you can switch it. We can shift that. We can shift that you're still in service like you wanted to be, but versus you having to defend and fight so much, we're going to change the angle a little bit. So that can be changed as long as you're following the right path. Well, you know when you need to revisit the same past life because your instincts tell you. Your instincts, that's a good one. When do we know when we need to revisit the same past life? Some people were so happy in a past life. Some people want to go back and feel that again. They want to know and really hold on to what that feels because it makes them feel good. Some they really want to go back and see who they were. So you know the instinct, the things you're drawn to, the lifetimes you want to go back and visit. Like with Mikey, when we booked the psychic vampire connection, when we had to put protection on him and get some stuff off of him, they brought him back to a very specific lifetime, a very specific cabin. And he wants to go back and explore more of that time. They connected him with his Viking roots because he's got huge Viking roots. So your instincts will tell you the lifetimes that you want to go back to. You'll just know. Like she knows those 3 lifetimes, I went back, I get it. It helped me in my current lifetime. I learned what I wanted to, and I don't need to go back and visit that craziness anymore. On to bigger and better and happier things. So your spirit tells you, or I'll turn around and say, you know what, we're not quite done there yet. If I get that we're not quite done there and there's more messages that I know that you need to face, because some lifetimes, this one is giving you only one pivotal thing. In some lifetimes, you've had many pivotal things that have happened. So sometimes you may have me say, you know what, when you're ready, we may want to go back to this lifetime because we're not done yet. Okay, so what about all this furniture I'm getting rid of, karma or dharma? It's going to be dharma. You need to get rid of it. You're purging right now in a good way. So you need to. It's a good thing, Fitzpatrick. And you're not suffering. You're too hard on yourself. You really punish yourself when you don't need to. In fact, I talked to somebody about you and your quest today. So once it's all set up, you got some people that are expecting to be able to speak with you. All right. Yeah, Miriam said she would never go back. She learned what she needed to learn. She doesn't want to go back to those lifetimes again. I think the one she might visit would be the one where she was the nun and the nurse, but only the beginning part of the lifetime. I think she would actually say, okay, as soon as I hit the prison, I want to come back. We're gonna turn around and come back out that door.
Oh yeah.
And it's interesting that you were able to really feel your death in the one where you were the soldier. And know that. Do you have a feeling of deja vu you were going through these lives? No, when she was going through this life, it wasn't a memory. She actually felt like she was in the lifetimes, correct? That's what you said earlier?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, she was actually transported. She went OBE. When you go OBE, it's like a form of time travel. That's Miriam was able to activate her Merkaba. When we do the Merkaba activation, those guided meditations that activate your vehicle light body, when you're able to do that, you're actually, that's actually, people have already traveled in time and don't realize it yet. Everybody's waiting for that big hand machine that's going to transport them. Well, no, your spirit can travel back and come forth again. And people just are changing. They're trying to. You've already done time travel, but people want it to be done physically in this lifetime, where you can be like transported there and you come back. But when you went, you felt like you were there. Your body was there. It's just it was your spirit that had gone back, and your body was laying on your bed. Okay. I need to visit. This is interesting. Old contracts. Do you feel prepared going in? I feel like the mechanism won't be able to focus on which to visit. Okay. First of all, were you prepared to go into your past life regression?
Yes, like I worked with you, you know.
Yeah, we did the work and we prepared you for it.
Yeah.
And to answer your question, you don't need to know. It's not for you to pick in the beginning what lifetimes you go into. Spirit and what's going on draws you to the doors that you're supposed to enter. So they actually, your guides and spirit actually guide you to the lifetimes that you need to go through at specific times. The only time you're specifically going to go through a lifetime is when you've already been there and you say, listen, I need to go back to this lifetime. I want more information. And then we're focusing specifically on that door and that lifetime. So it's a little bit different than that. Well, the best thing when I do the, besides the fact she had done sessions with me before, we had worked through a lot of things before, and she did a lot of crystal work with me before her past life regression and other sessions. Before you go into a session, I always say be as relaxed as possible. The only thing that I love about the fact that I'm able to do it virtual is I could say, listen, we're doing it later at night when you're tired and more open, because when you're a little bit more tired, you're more open. Your boundaries are lowered. I'm like, take a hot bath, take a hot shower. You know, you want to be burning the specific incense, because you know it's either frankincense and myrrh and amber, or it's Nag Champa that you have to burn. Get that burning 20 minutes ahead of time. Have the specific candles lit. Have everything that you need, so that you're in the space where it's almost like putting yourself into a sensory deprivation chamber, which is a good thing. You put yourself into such a relaxed, still place that you naturally are going to be able to go into it easier. That's why a lot of people, I'm like, okay, what's your mood today? What kind of mood you in? You anxious? You pissed off? I have people where if I know they had a stressful day, I'm like, you know what? Maybe we need to do the same time tomorrow night or another day, because if you're so anxious, you're not going to be able to relax enough to go back. All right, there's Casey. Hi, Casey. I'm looking. I think we answered those. We answered those. Casey was cool because a lot of times when I do your sessions with you, it is, they show past lives, which is really good, which is important. And Casey had one of those, actually Casey and Heather both, two separate readings, and they were friends and they were both connected, and it was shown and it resonated so huge with them. Nag Champa, you know, frankincense and myrrh and amber, and Nag Champa, different people resonate with different incenses that are going to raise their vibrational level. It's all about raising their energy and vibrational level. Of course it is. That's why 10, 17, 11, you're going to need, I'm pretty sure you're going to need to do a soul retrieval first, because you need to process and deal with the things that have happened in this lifetime so you could be prepared and handled your past lifetimes. Then you're not working back, you're not working the reverse situation. There's nothing to be nervous for, because I'm there keeping you guys safe. You guys are good. You're in control of it. You're not going in on your own. I'm always anxious with both in this and past life. Meditation, sometimes it's easier to go through a guided meditation than trying to do one on your own, because you're just listening and somebody's leading you and you drift off, and it has usually hypnosis built into it to open you up. And you just have to have faith and trust the person you're with. If you don't have faith and feel relaxed with the person that you're working with, then you'll never have the breakthroughs that you need, because you'll always be blocking. Okay, let me see. Here we go again. I hate this thing. I hate this thing. I'm so bad with my phone.
Purple is beautiful.
Yeah, but dragon's blood is more for protection, Casey. It doesn't raise your vibrational level. It's more for protection, Mama. Which you can burn at the same time. Yep, a hot shower. Kane really did a good one the other day, too. The unknown gives you answers. The unknown, she said, just not sure what to expect. The unknown makes me nervous. Just everything and anything is possible. You know, it gives you answers. It opens you up and makes you understand that things do go on. And why we're here. There is a reason why we're here, and a purpose. And we all matter. We're all intricately weaved into the fabric of time. So it actually is very inspiring and kind of like a metaphysical muse. Let's just put it that way. It helps you find your truth and be able to get through this lifetime on your own, so that you don't have to be codependent and all that other fun stuff. Soul retrievals and past life regressions are live. Yes, you're stuck with me right here on the on video with you, and some people I do it through the phone, or I do in person, but it's private. I do it just with you because it's your past life. It's your soul retrieval. I'm not doing it with a group of people. Because we're doing it with you for a specific reason, and that's what it's focusing on. There have been things where people wanted me to do a past life regression in a gallery kind of thing, where they were there to witness somebody going through a past life regression and hear the experiences right after, like we're doing now months after. But, you know, to me, I think that your lives are very personal and important, and that you should share because you want to share. And sometimes when you go through past life regressions, or especially soul retrieval, some things come up. You may not want to share them, but we have done those as well with bystanders, like, you know, like in Grey's Anatomy, where they have the gallery up top and watching surgery. So we have done that before. That has been done. All right. Yeah, June's done a lot of work. She did a soul retrieval and a past life, and she's done continue with different meditations. And she's starting to listen to all the messages she's getting, and she's had a huge breakthrough about a week ago, which I'm so proud about. So well on your way, Joanne.
Make it stop, please.
Okay, dragon's blood. I think we got that. You have to remember, you're always in control. Nothing can hurt you unless you allow it to hurt you. And that is the truth. In fact, there's a new series out called Evil on Netflix. And it's about demonic possession and exorcisms. And the one lady, she's a psychiatrist, and she goes through it, and because you're active and alive, and very much aware when you go through these things. So when something comes to oppress you or attack you or hold you back, you're able to stand up and defend yourself. So it's important to know that you have that strength. I mean, everybody has their angels and their guides and everything that's with them, but you have to trust in that and be fearless in what you're doing. But you're in complete control. Nothing can hurt you unless you allow it to. Mel, you're so funny. See, I'm glad we're having that session. Mel, I heard of it, but no thanks. I am so glad we're having that session tomorrow, because you can't be with the words, no thanks. You have to be prepared to go into battle at all times. You can't pick and choose when you're going to face it, because guess what? When you go through the battles, they don't pick and choose you. They say you don't have a choice. You're going through it. So you want to be able to walk through with power, not go through where they're dragging you, kicking and screaming, and you don't have all your defense mechanisms up and your weapons that you need to go into battle. You've gotten so much braver, Mel. I have to say that, though. But what was interesting about that is it explains truly, like with the Catholic Church and psychiatrists and the human psyche and things like that. It's very broad, don't get it twisted, but it gives you a little bit more of an understanding. Okay, let me see. What else we got going on? In fact, it was very cool. The other day I went and I got booked. I got a book at some of the haunted places in California because I want to go ghost hunting. And I'm looking and some, like the Winchester House was not on there. I'm like, how can the Winchester House not be on here? It had some of the cool places like the Coronado Hotel and all that other stuff. I know you've been trying. You're just trying. Your biggest problem, Alex, is going from the bottom rung to the top rung of the ravel. You're trying to jump those stairs, and you can't. You have to build a solid foundation to get to the top. So unfortunately, you got to go through all that stuff, but you can't just go from one place to another. So that's why once in a while you get that fear that brews up in you. Let's see. All right. Any other questions about past life regressions or soul retrievals? Okay, Miriam, I'm going to let you jump off, unless you have anything else to say.
Thank you, everybody. No.
Okay. All right.
Really recommend
Be on the live looking at questions, so she'll be able to answer if you ask a question and you forget something. But I'm going to kick you off right now because we pretty much covered everything, and you're welcome. Okay. Yeah, stop being impatient and stop. Remember in the beginning, I knew you so badly wanted to connect with the stars, Mel, but I said you're of the earth as well. You have to work with the earth and being here and all of those things before you could go to the star. There's certain things, and you've done so much of that work. It's just when things start opening a lot, you can replay it. I'm going to save it. When things start opening up to you and you start opening up, you get very excited. You get very, very excited. But then at that point, that's truly when you become the apprentice and you do the work and you start really learning. And you have to follow the direction of truly the path that you want to focus on. And then once you get that established, then you start adding things. But it's so hard in the beginning. See, for me, it's different. I was born this way. So I've always done all of this work, and it's always come so natural to me. It's not something that I necessarily had to study, okay? Some people are they have the feelings that they're trying to awaken, so it takes a little bit longer. You kind of really have to make sure that you're dotting all your I's and crossing your T's and developing it in the proper way. Otherwise, you get yourself in trouble. Mikey knows about that. The Psychic Viking knows about that. Okay, the Whitney in Detroit. Case, you're spiritually lately is just because of the fact that you had change in season. COVID-19 is really putting a damper on everybody's world and their feelings. 2 full moons this month, the election happening. There's so much that has been going on around you, and because you feel that energy and the vibration, it affects you because you haven't been effectively healing yourself and opening your chakras and balancing and putting up your protective barrier. You have to start doing that again lately. And I think also so much because you're opening up and found a whole side of your family that you want to be a part of, and you're dealing with that as well. And that's a very physical human thing you're going through. So you have to give yourself a break. It's okay to let your spirit, not to feel so spiritual all the time, because you got to handle your human form, your human life here. Because we were put on this life to live a human experience, all the good and the bad. So don't be so tough on yourself. Now remember, you can go to the website, and if you go to the website to book a past life regression or a soul retrieval or one of those things, it's an hour session. It's at least an hour. Usually it goes over an hour, so we really sanction off an hour to an hour and 20 minutes, an hour and a half, because we have to process everything, because the regression itself and the soul retrieval takes about an hour to do. And then we have to do the work afterwards, but that is an hour session. Otherwise, you can direct message me, because I have it just set up as a 1 hour session because I'm not good with setting things up on WordPress. I'm just not talented enough. Why is the veil so thin this time of year? Because of everything has to do with where your change of seasons, the time of year it is. You're coming up to Halloween, and it's All Souls, so the veil is very thin in general around this time because everybody are very prevalent and aware of it. It is not an evil thing at all, so please don't think that it's evil. It's also the connection of where the stars and the planets are congruent to the earth, so that comes into play. A lot of people, when it comes to harvest time, through every culture, they have their rituals and the things that they do, so a lot of people are more spiritual and preparing for the change of seasons and everything else. There's so much that's into it, but to be completely honest, the veil is completely thin now because of everything that's going on, and it's been thin for a long time. It's just not one part of the year that it gets worse anymore. It's not just people say, oh, we got to worry about Halloween or full moons because that's when everything's going to happen. It's the veil has been thinning, and that's why you have so many light workers and so many people like me that are coming out and working with people, and why so many people are drawn to it. Oh, no, I understand. I know you didn't think it, but a lot of times when they say All Souls, they're thinking of Sam Hain, they're thinking of this, they're thinking of that. When people turn around and say that you shouldn't send your kids trick-or-treating because it's evil, that's not right. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people, that's the day they actually celebrate and honor and remember the ones that they lost. It's what you're raised to believe and how you believe. So everybody has a right to their beliefs, but a lot of times that puts out unnecessary fears and make people afraid of things. Why was what whack? Oh, and he's saying like it's like crazy. Yeah, but you're dimensional, Yellow Wolf. You already know that. Come on. You guys can work dimensionally. I work dimensionally all the time. That's why, I have on there's my labradorite. And I dropped you. That's why I have on my Ondarian crystal, because that's dimensional work. When you do dimensional work. And that's a whole nother topic too. When you really start doing research and understanding things and allowing yourself to see truths and not be closed-minded or be stuck with how you were previously programmed, and you follow your inner voice, you know what's true. Anybody thinks that we're the only people in this universe or in all the universes and galaxies, that's very one-sided. It's very tunnel-visioned. There are so many different galaxies in so many different universes in other planets that are just like our planets where there are life. There are people that have been around for eons. We are not the only living beings in the universe. So that's just common sense. That's absolute kind of common sense. But it's easier because most people can't understand it, and it's so unattainable because people are still trying to figure out how to travel. I mean, I want you to think about this. How the hell do you think the ancient Egyptians and the Mayans were able to build those pyramids? Why their medicine was so modern day and the things that they do? There was a reason. Okay, let me see. Scotland is huge. There's a part directly across the water in Scotland and Ireland, and then going to Scotland, it's very, very huge. And Stonehenge, very, very much connected with the same thing, the same type of knowledge that built the pyramids and the medicine and everything from back then. Hey, Theory. Okay. That's good. That means you're opening up a little bit. But you know what, Yellow Wolf? The first time you dreamed of it, you've been working on your music more. And I want you to think about the vibrations of the music that you do, and the type of music, and how it does open up your mind, and it does raise your vibrational level. So it makes sense. You've been more creative and working and recording your music lately, so it would only make sense you would start having those visions and dreams because your psyche is opening up. You're releasing. You're not so bound by the current, real world, the business part of life. You're using the other part of your brain. Because you remember, Casey, you're connected with the Celtics, remember? You go back towards Salem, but the town outside Salem, and then you were directly connected with the Celtics, the ancient ones. Yep, I know it is, Kane. Okay, I'm trying to see if I'm missing anything. You guys are tired tonight. You are. Hi, Diane. Okay, let me see. He is making progress, but you know what? You could open. Yellow was already open. You could open him up in a second. I could just crack him open in 2 seconds flat if I had him in my presence, and he was ready to go on a journey. But the problem is once he starts the journey and gets passionate about it, he has to be in the place where he can do that. Hello, Steve. I still haven't gotten the message about your session yet, Steve, and I keep on calling you out on it every time you jump on. The greatest thing about your schoolwork, Nico, Gay Crime Wave, is the fact that it's leading you towards what you're meant to be doing. And you made that choice. But it's hard because you're so forward moving and doing what you need to, that sometimes it's too much. Oh, I understand that. And you need to take a break. So you're getting done what you need to. Yellow Wolf isn't afraid. It's just a lot of work. Okay, let me see. All right. Now, hi, Mama. How you doing? How's your mom feeling? But enjoy this time of year, experience it, get out, breathe the clear, crisp air. I am going to do a full moon live. I have to, good night, you too. I have to figure out if I'm going to do it tomorrow night on Mischief Night or if I'm going to do it on Halloween. I'm not sure yet. I haven't decided. But this is good. I'm glad, Mama. This is a really good energy in this full moon. It's actually a blue moon, and you can actually see it radiating the blue color now. I was so lucky where last night it was just a crisp cold here, but not too cold. And at night, no, it gets, when you get in the wintertime, I lived in Florida, South Florida for a while, it could get cold. What do you call it? My brain went dead. I was able to see it and feel her energy. Her energy is amazing right now. This full moon has transformational energy. So I think it's really good shifting in, because although nature naturally goes into slumber and hibernation to heal itself and regenerate during the winter months, in the forms that we're actually able to, even when we're stuck inside or can't do so much, which what's the difference right now? Because COVID put us into like hibernation way earlier this year. You're really able to develop the abundance and create what you need to create. So it's a really good moon. It's going to be really good energy for releasing. I want you guys to get into the present of what you want to release and get and let go of, and to release that into it, and then plant the seeds of what you want to draw into your life. But the thing is this: when you guys, first of all, when you let go of situations, you're not allowed to use a name on anything, because if you put a name on something that you release and want to leave your life, okay, it's almost like casting on somebody. It's like the Italians, that would be the evil eye to an Italian, like somebody putting the Malocchi on somebody. You do not, whatever you put out comes back to you sevenfold. So when you want to release certain things like heartbreak, sickness, abuse, those things. Those are the things that you release into the universe. And then the universe is going to help you take care of it. But you don't attach a name to it. Just like when you plant something and want to draw in, you can't go against people's free will. So you want to draw in the love. You want to draw in. There's certain ways you do things in certain languages you use because your spoken word is very, very, very important. Okay. Yeah, I saw that they had the new movie out, but it's not going to be anything like the first one. And it's completely a different... The first movie of The Craft had actually a very powerful message in it, and also talked about society and the stigmatas and dogma and everything else. It was completely different than what the nature of this new one is. Okay. What did... Okay, good. Definitely reach out. Definitely. I'm ready for you, 1017, but you better be ready for me, and you better be ready for what comes your way. Because if you want me to open you up, I can get you open and get you doing the work you're supposed to be doing and feeling and changing your life. Just get ready to change your life. Get ready to feel better. Get ready for you to be free. That's the biggest thing. To actually be free. Because it's not about being happy. It's not about any of that shit. For you, it's about being free. And having the opportunity to do the things that you've been called to do and you truly want to do without anything holding you back or haunting you or dragging you down. All right. What was interesting? Not at all. Craft is not scary. Hey, those dreams are real, and you got to remember when those come in, they come in for a reason. When you have those dreams, if you're doing dream interpretation, no joke. When I was little, I used to wake up, and I would dream that my whole bed was completely covered by snakes, and I would dream that the floor was covered, and literally, I would stand on my bed, and I would jump across my room to hit the hallway because I wasn't walking through it. So, you know, things like that, they're there for a reason. They really are. You're so funny. Addams Family scared you most. How could the Addams Family scare you? That's crazy. All right. And it's a movement, yes. And we want movements, positive movements, guys. Remember that. Positive. Creep me out so much. Nope, no bugs or snakes. Wow. I used to have reoccurring nightmares about snakes also, or falling. Yeah, but now if you think about your life and what you've dealt with at the time you were having those, and because of your inner gifts that were coming out and what you were dealing with, there's reason. There's certain things that are awakenings, and kind of we're giving you answers figuratively of what to watch out from, what to watch out for. Dreams are dreams for a reason. Monster scared you. How could the monsters? That was so funny. If any one of you said that Fright Night was scary, you got issues, because that was so funny. You guys remember the movie Fright Night that came out when I was younger? So I know I'm dating myself huge, but we all know how. Like zombies, I think they're stupid. There's nothing scary about the zombies. Nothing, not a damn thing. Like The Walking Dead, psh, Supernatural so kicks The Walking Dead's ass. Scooby-Doo is awesome. That was my favorite cartoon. Casper, he's my friend. I love Casper. That's my favorite thing. Can I keep you? You remember, Mama? And Casper had such an important message as well. I mean, all these movies, Lake Scene was the best. Of what? Lake Scene of what? Poltergeist? Well, Poltergeist, that's real. That's not a joke. Conjuring, that is real. Like, I'm kind of annoyed. I was so annoyed when I watched that movie because of what I do for a living and haunted objects and things like that. I'm like, either the person who did this movie had no clue what the hell they were doing, or they were purposefully doing something because they knew a whole bunch of crazy people that didn't know what they were doing were going to go out and start looking for haunted objects and get involved with that world and not even know the doorways that they're opening. Because Conjuring is actually a very dangerous movie. It really is. If you go into it and you think you're, all your, what's the word? Amateur ghost hunters and people who think they can be exorcists and remove things from people. Yeah, but I want you to look. You had a dream your ex died. Think about that and why. Think about why, because something did die, Lex. Pet Cemetery was really good, and that really is. When you have things that are built on like burial grounds and things like that, it's huge. People don't understand. There's so much more going on and out there, and I think you're all waking up to it now, but you have to tread lightly. Yeah, but do you realize when you go ghost hunting, you have to be very, very careful, because when you wake things up or try to talk to them, that's a form of conjuring. That is a form of it. Especially when they know that you might be able to hear them or see them. I know he is, Mom. I don't get to watch scary movies anymore. But do you know how much that man loves you? Do you have any idea? I mean, just adores you. Like, you truly are his, and it's not even, I'm not going to say the word light, because it's more than that. Like, he looks at you and it's like you're his happy. And it's just an interesting feeling that I get when I tap kind of into your husband in reference to him with you. We'll talk about that during our session, Fitzpatrick, because that's a little bit more complicated. It's not bad, but it's just a little bit different than what's going on during this live right now. But we will address it. I mean, you do have regular access to me. Same Casey. I know it's like 5 years ago I broke up with him. That doesn't mean that people that you were once with and you loved don't come back into your mind and your heart and haven't resided in your spirit. And when you go through different phases in your life, it brings up different things. If you truly cared for somebody and loved them, that love doesn't die. The difference is that they were there for a season or for whatever lesson was to be learned, whether it was good or bad, and then you put them in a place on your shelf. So the majority, as we get older, our hearts get broken. Some of us shattered, and they do heal, but we still have remnants of those scars there. So, it's things that you dealing with that it was, but you think about what's happened since then. So you really have to look at it a little bit deeper than what the surface. Learn to read in between the lines. Yeah. Ouijas are bad. Tarot cards, no, because a lot of people who use tarot cards or oracle cards, they're not sensitive, they're not gifted in that way, but they're so intrigued by it that they'll just read the books and say, oh, this is what this means when I pull 4 cards for somebody. Anytime you do anything to work with the spirits, meditation, ghost hunting, trying to contact them, full moon, you're opening yourself up to the other side, to the other side of the veil, to other dimensions and things of that nature. So your energy is automatically calling them in. So anything can open your doors for spirits. You just have to be very cautious, and just because somebody has a deck of tarot cards, which are pretty stringent, or a deck of oracle cards, it does not mean that they know what they're doing. A lot of people think it's so cool and they're being part of the movement. They go buy it and they read the book and, ooh, I can read you now. No, it doesn't work that way. Pendulums are awesome. Pendulums is connecting you more with your own spirit guide, remember? Well, you were able to cope and deal with the trauma, and you've got so much more in your current life. Your life, even though you have your challenges, Mama, it has so much joy and so much opportunity, and so much of the future ingrained into it. So, invest, especially because you know who you are, who you were, who your mom was, the whole 9 yards. On the podcast, they talked to the family that sounded like, hi, world of Randy. I don't know if she can hear me. Randy, if you're on here, throw in, I know it's the truth, Mama. Throw in the link to your HAPS account. I was on a really cool paranormal show with an amazingly intelligent, brilliant journalist. She's amazing. And it was a lot of fun this afternoon. So she has a show. Her tag on Instagram is World of Randy. And on there and also on my page, it has the link to her HAPS account. So you'll be able to see the show that we did today, but also be able to follow her and be a part of the different work that she's doing. And she's doing a whole bunch of different work. It's just not based on paranormal, which is a wonderful thing. She's kind of tapping into everything, which is nice. Okay, let's see. What book are we talking about? What book, Mel? Hold on. What did I miss, Mel? Oh, okay, I got you. Does reading... Okay, I got you. You're talking about a book. JOUSC, it's Lighthouse. Huh. There's a lot of stuff out there. Remember, I truly believe this. There's no such thing as complete fiction. Every piece of fiction that is written is part of the truth. It came from the truth. So whether an artist, a journalist, a writer embellished on it, it came from the truth at the center of it. And yeah, the real family, they have a lot of those books out there like that when you really start seeing it. It's just we're bullshitting now. We did the past life regression that Miriam went through, and she had fallen asleep beforehand, so she had to wake up a bit. So we went through her past life and her experience. I brought you up, Ashley, because you didn't want to leave your one lifetime when you had your hubby and your baby on your hip. And then we were just kind of bullshitting about stuff in general now and the benefits of doing the past life regressions and soul retrievals and all that other good stuff. Even mediumship, guys. When I do mediumship for people where we talk to people that you have lost or on the other side, and that's what that session's specifically for. When people come through, if you're a relative or somebody's coming through, I'm like, okay, it's great, you're giving them this is how you're feeling, you're fine, but what message do you have? To me, if you're doing a mediumship, it's just not knowing that they're doing better. Because you got to remember, once somebody passes on, they're better than they were when they were here. Even if it was short, they're feeling good. Your body becomes like healed and whole. Except for the people that might have been incredibly evil and doing other things. So I'm just going to generalize that. It's the people that are left behind, to deal with it. So when we talk to your loved ones that have crossed over, or traumatic experience that has occurred, once they come through, I'm like, okay, great, we got all the small talk done. Now give me something that's going to help them. What is the message you have for them that is going to help them heal and move on and do something abundant with their life and draw in that abundance and prosperity? Otherwise, you pay a medium an insane amount of money for you just to find out that all your relatives love you, that they're doing great, and that they're with you. So just book the past life regression, direct message me, and we could set one up. Of course I can feel Michael. Of course I can. And it's almost like when I tapped into him for you guys, he kind of always comes and hangs out a little bit with me when I'm on, because he kind of knows. Especially because I talk to Denise quite a bit. Oh, the book based on The Conjuring. No, that was very real. That was a real story. But to do that movie and bring that up is huge because, you have The Conjuring, and what was the other one? Sinister. And there was another one. It's all very real things. Like Annabelle, Robert was the original haunted doll, that haunted object. Like, that's no joke. You have to be very careful. Like, I love going and getting old books that have people's signatures in them and what they wrote to somebody, or getting, like, I have a gorgeous candelabra. I got to show you what else I just found. I'm in my daughter's room, but look, like that lamp. That lamp is that vintage lamp that I found. But when I go and I pick up vintage things or things that used to be in other people's homes, I have to feel the energy in it. I got to turn this around. Okay, here we go. So funny. I was just literally talking to my friend today about this years ago before I found you. She told me all this family around me, but I got 0 messages. You get them now, though. But I kind of come straightforward out and tell you, I don't, what's the word? I don't sugarcoat anything because there's no purpose. And anybody that's worked with me knows, if somebody comes through, I'm like, okay, but what do you have? Like, I'll actually sit and start talking to them while you're sitting there, which is interesting. And the funniest thing is that lamp now has a story. And one day I'm going to put the story, because I went and I found this lamp and I showed it to my daughter, and I have to, post the story that my daughter told me. And when I tell you, she came so quickly with it, and it's so what that lamp inspired in her, and the connection she had with that lamp versus me. Yeah, we're all old souls. You've all been here quite a few lifetimes, just some more than others. Need to Mel. Okay. Did that. Thank you. I'm a gypsy. And it actually has rubies in it, and some of the other stones have fell out. I used to have black. I had sewn black satin on the inside to show it better. But angels, actually, I've been wearing this because I've been doing a lot of work, and because the veil is so thin and all that other stuff. So bells bring protection, and a whole bunch of other things. They let you know if something's coming. So. And they actually can be very relaxing. Bells are very, I resonate a lot with bells. Okay. Thank you. Okay. All right, guys. Let me see. Trying to see what else is on. I'm trying to fix this right now. Like, the Rusty Orange Rat needs to make a comeback. Yeah, absolutely. So I'll bring it back. Oh, she will. That's awesome, Mama. And it's so funny because you want to know something funny? As I was going through and just trying to figure out how to get the keyboard off my phone, because I'm a dummy when it comes to that, my phone just has a mind of its own. I was connecting with you, and all I kept on hearing is she needs to cook, she needs to bake. Make something, and that would make sense. That you need to be in the kitchen right now, making something. Not that you don't do that normally, but so tomorrow, why don't you cook something or bake something that is all about you, Grandma? And she will come to you with a dream. You know that. All you have to do is wake up in the morning tomorrow, and you can have a cup of coffee with her. Mama, you know you can do that. There's no reason you can't. Wake up tomorrow morning a little bit earlier where nobody's awake and have a cup of coffee with the grandmother. You know you can do it. Light a candle for her. Burn the incense or the scent that she loves so much. And then do that. Okay, Ash, and when you want to do your own live, we can do your own live. That'll be fine. Okay, I'm trying to see. Listen, now, beautiful wisdom, you're asking me if Michael has been around you. He's around you and his entire family right now because he's trying to help. and he's trying to heal you guys. And he's going to be around really until his celebration of life in November. But why would you want me to tell you if Michael was with you, which I just told you he was? You need to trust in your inner voice and feel him and know that he's there. You have to know it for yourself. And then when you start talking about it, I could say, yes, you were feeling him and then that. And you have to allow yourself to know that your feelings are true. You can't doubt yourself, but you are getting more confidence. Absolutely. Well, you know, your grandma was a special kind of grandma and the connection with you and your mama. So, no, it's huge. That's how we keep people alive. And our job is to live when they can't anymore and to remember the lessons that they spoke and what they stood for. History is so powerful. That's why it upsets me so much when people want to erase history or any artifacts that hold a place in time that's telling a story, whether the history is good or bad history. It is so, so very important to remember because even if it's bad history and bad things happen, there were some amazing things that happened. There were the transformations, how people rose above them. You know, we all come from somewhere, and the history and remembering that is so important because the people of our past, our ancestors and our families, some of them were really oppressed. Some were really fighting for their lives. I mean, you think about, you know, when you go back into slavery and you go back into the Holocaust and, you know, all these different things that happened, all the different world wars, and everything. There are people who fought and stood for something. And you have to remember there's a balance. There's yin and yang. There's good and there is so-called evil, that we put it that way. You have to have one to understand the other. So it's so, so important to remember and not forget, because if we don't remember, already history repeats itself. But if we don't have those reminders, whether they were good or bad, okay, it's definitely going to happen again, and probably worse. Okay, let me see. Your beautiful wisdom, my psychologist also thinks Elena is great. Thank you so much, Nico. Somebody else told me that the other day, that they went and they were seeing a therapist and were talking about me, and they said that I was kind of like right on point, which makes me really happy because, you know, when you have the medical field, the scientists that actually kind of back you a little bit, it's actually very cool. It's very rewarding. But in those fields and in science, they're really starting to migrate and adapt the metaphysical world and that type of healing to work with the regular healing, like your Eastern and Western medicines are joining. You have to have both. So it's and like I have somebody who's dealing with a very bad thing right now. They're losing their vision and they can't figure out why. And you know, their mental state has to stay in a pure space. They have to be in the right mental place to work their way through this, or it's going to get worse versus getting better. But thank you very much, Nico. That's amazing. Thank you so much, beautiful wisdom. I appreciate that too. My therapist said I've done well in healing in the past 3 months. She says part of it is because of you and your wisdom and gift in helping me. Well, it's just a blessing and an honor to help you. That's what I'm here for. You guys are a direct reflection of me and my work. So I want you to be happy and healthy and abundant. Okay. Oh, that's cool, 1017. I have had a lot of people that don't do social media, but they've made just accounts to be able to be on our lives. So I appreciate that. That's huge. The medical intuitives, especially your Native Americans, your shamans. I've worked with so many shamans. I do recommend, you want to see spirit animals, you want to get involved with that, you go into a sweat lodge. You know, they have things like peyote and things like that, their knowledge. And it's so quiet. It's so interesting how through drums, that's why drumming for me is so important in drum circles when I do them and I hold them and working with them. Shamanism is huge. And they really are connected with the earth. You're like your Seminoles. That's amazing. That is so awesome, Mama. I want to go up to, and I hate the fact that we had COVID because I wanted to go to the Redwoods and visit with you and your mom up there. So hopefully we will get that opportunity when the weather breaks. I know it's magical, and magic is real. Yep, dream catchers are real. That's not a joke. All that stuff I do. You got to remember when I work with crystals for you guys and I pick them out or I'm making candles, even when I'm cooking, all of that stuff, um, I'm doing magic. You're doing magic when you do that. And they have beautiful stories. When you do your dream catchers, you want to, especially with your children, anything that you do with them, you want to explain what the legend is of it and what they're for. And then allow them, teach them how to make them. Because you need to give, angels, like, my kids believe in angels and they believe in shamans. And I mean, we're spiritualists. I mean, I was raised Roman Catholic. My husband transferred over when he was alive to being a Christian, a non-denominational Christian, and I'm a spiritualist. But I resonate with certain things, but in reality, it's all the same damn thing, whether you guys want to admit it or not. So it's so important to have a faith process, regardless of whatever you believe in. Even if you're somebody who doesn't believe in anything but science, that's still a faith. You have to give your children and yourselves a faith process, something that's going to be there for you because you have help on the other side. Whether you like it or not, they're there for you to help you tap in, and it helps you get through all the bullshit on earth, especially when you feel like there's nobody here that understands or is listening to you. Okay. Do you think, yes, everybody has past lives. Some of them, some people have had shorter lives, like my Maggie who comes on here. She's only had 6 past lives. Her husband, who is her twin flame, for real, has had like 35 or 36, and he's waited for her because she takes a long time. She still is old as spirit, but she takes a long time to come back into the world after one lifetime has passed. And he specifically waits for her. And it's their story for me when I got to do a reading with the both of them, and I saw their connection to each other and who they were and was able to help them, and they understood more. Was such an amazing gift for me because very rarely do you get the opportunity to experience that, and I bore witness to it. You know what I'm saying? And it was one of the most beautiful things, and she only had 6 lifetimes. But she's really old, so. Okay. Oh, yeah, when we do those lives? Yeah, I know. It's really cool when we do that. Well, just like I was talking to Joanne, she's like, is the red fox still my working spirit animal? And when she texted me today, it was the funniest thing. I said, when you have your spirit animals and they come to you, they stay your spirit animals. You identify one of your spirit animals. But it doesn't mean that's the one that's predominantly working into her life. And when I was talking to her, the cardinal is the one that has kind of stepped forth for her right now. The red fox is still there, and the funnest thing is she's starting to be able to see her spirit animals and connect with them. And spirit guides, which is great. It's really important to be able to recognize and connect with your spirit guides. Hi, Mr. Official New Jersey. How are you? Okay, I'm trying to see here. Okay. Of course you do. We're all in the same soul family, so if you feel like your best friend is your person, you keep coming back, it's true. DC, Denise and Maria are very much soul sisters. You do a past life regression. Somebody like me tells you how many lives you've lived, and you do research on it. And that'll all come through when you start going through your past lives. Trying to think if there's anything else. Okay, guys. Oh, did you say you were going to bake tomorrow, Mama? I'm giving you homework. You got a birthday tomorrow that's happening. What are you making? Your grandmother wants you to make something special. Because it's so funny, I totally crossed over that, and right when I'm getting ready to, I have to go, we kind of like tap back on and said, what's he making tomorrow? Well, a lot of these people have done lives with me, and I'll do a live on Mystic Mondays, and all of a sudden, um, okay, as long as you're doing something, but you need to make something too. Even if it's easy, make something and have coffee with her tomorrow morning and tell me what happens. A lot of people have done past life regressions and soul retrievals from me, but on Monday nights, usually that was her. Exactly. You weren't a great cook. That was her, but there are recipes, and it created a feeling when she was cooking, and you have all of these babies in your house that you can make this beautiful mess together and tell stories about your grandmother because you have cooks that are within your life. And if you just gave it a try, I think you'd probably surprise yourself. So try to do the one you love the most. So that's when the best stories come out. Hey, you want to know the best toast? When I was younger, our parents used to cheat. They would take toast and put it in the oven and then put butter on it and cinnamon and sugar. Yep, I do the pendulum so you can see, and I do that. But tonight I am not doing that because I'm getting ready to jump off. But on Monday nights, that usually happens. It just depends. Like on Monday night, you guys were all crazy. The energy was crazy, so there was just so much coming out. So and you guys are starting to wake up now. It took y'all a while to wake up today. Oh, good deal, Ash. I'm glad. And you're not a newbie. You just finally decided to come home 10/17. You came home to your soul family. You found your family. You're welcome, Mama. Absolutely. What's crazy? Oh, on Monday night it was crazy. Mm-hmm. Funny thing is Fitzpatrick, your path is so clear on what you need to do. I just have to get you organized enough to do it. Oh, and I may be sending one of my children to you for a tattoo, just so you know. Her and her boyfriend, but she was talking about tattoos the other day. Okay. No kidding. I was even asleep. Oh, no. I'm looking. Sometimes I think I miss stuff and I don't mean to miss it. But, all right, cool. So definitely go on to the thing and click on the app perhaps and listen to the interview we had today. You can see your sister Yellow Wolf. You can get on and have a little dance party with her every day on video messenger until you make your way to her. We're doing the full Blue Moon live, so that's homework. We're actually going to be doing a live. But I'll actually send you to Fitzpatrick. I'm good. Do you like the book, Fitzpatrick? That's like one of the most important things, especially when becoming like an apprentice, when you're starting to learn. One of the most important things you all should read, and if you haven't read it, I need you to read it. And you need to read it again if you've read it. I think it should be required reading in 8th grade and in high school. There is a book called The Alchemist. And if you're a light worker, if you're somebody who's meant for greatness, which we all are, it will inspire you and it shows you a lot of truth and understanding. We could do that. I want to, like I said, I can go to different places to do events and retreats. So I can come up with a retreat and see if I can get it booked at like a particular place, like a venue or a hotel or something like that, and then be able to sell tickets and stuff for it. So I know that Ashley And anything but basic reunion. You're so funny. I am making up shirts, guys, just so you know. I'm making up a whole bunch of shirts and hats and fun stuff. I would so come to Canada. I've been there a couple of times, but I've been to Montreal. But I know Ashley and her sister said they were making me go to Texas. So and I am working on trying to get up back towards Jersey and New York because I want to do, hopefully, Randy and I are going to go on some ghost hunts and video them. And I have some other people that need some work done there, so I'm trying to do it all at the same time. I love Montreal too. I love the history of it. And you have to remember when I walk through the place, I can actually go back in time and see events that were going on and feel the history in a place. Like when my son goes on all around the world, he'll get me rocks or stones from a place, and then he'll bring them back for me so I could feel the place since I haven't been there. Okay, so it is 8:17. I have got to jet. They didn't kick us off today. I'm surprised. But I will say this live. If you have any questions, please let me know. If you want to book a session or a past life regression, a soul retrieval, a regular session, whatever you need. I did post a new series of guided meditations. They're very powerful guided meditations. If you don't want to do the series, like Nico, I'm so excited of doing the whole series. If you don't want to do the series, you can do them individually. I did post them, and they are powerful. They're really good. If you've done like the Akashic Records one before, you can do it again. The chakra healing, balancing, and cleansing, you can do it again. So don't be nervous if you've already done the meditation with me. These are meditations that you can do again. Okay? So like I said, just, either go to the website, book your session, or you could book it through Zelle, and direct message me and tell me what you want to do, and we'll get it going. And Fitzpatrick, I will be texting you later the time of your session next week. And I look forward to talking to you tomorrow night, Mel, and I'll message you as well, or after you message me. You're going to get an upgrade, Nico, no worries, because you're ready for one. And it's actually, once we do that full moon live, you'll understand the energy coming and why you're feeling that way. So we are doing that full moon live this week. So look, this week you got me like 3 times this week. You got me Mystic Monday. You got me tonight with the past life regression with Miriam, and got to talk to her a little bit, and then we bullshitted a little bit, and we're going to do a full moon live. Hot damn, you guys are lucky this week. All right. I'll talk to you guys soon. And if you need anything, just let me know. Have a good night. I will post. It's probably going to be on Halloween. It'll probably be 6 o'clock PST, 9 o'clock EST, unless I get the urge to do it tomorrow night. So it's either going to be tomorrow night or Saturday. Just look in your stories and on my feed, and it'll let you know. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great evening. Night.